Overthrow.com. Stay with us. Roger Stone just landed an hour ago here in Austin from D.C. with high-level meetings with top advisors to the Bushes, the Clintons, you name it. And that's why they fear him. He's got the contacts, including the president. He has just laid out during this break to me really serious info that dovetails with their plan. George Soros has bought a full-page ad for Antifa calling for the overthrow of Trump beginning November 4th. They're all coordinating it. Roger Stone, please give people an intelligence report on what you just told me.
Well, Alex, I was in Washington for the purpose of meeting with some of the most powerful and most knowledgeable telecommunications lawyers in the country in preparation for a lawsuit against Twitter. I heard only minutes ago that the official feed for the Netflix documentary, Stone Flick, Forget Me, Roger Stone, has now also been suspended. So I will own Twitter before this is over. There are First Amendment issues. There are antitrust issues.
Cautious interference.
But during the time I was in Washington, I never lose the opportunity to socialize, and I had a cocktail with a very prodigious Bush fundraiser, somebody with close personal relationships to George W., to George H.W., and to Jeb. And he told me that he had seen Jeb recently when the topic of Trump came up.
You said that day at lunch.
Yeah, at a lunch. He said, Jeb said confidently, Trump will be gone by December. Now, I would normally take that with a grain of salt. Later in the evening, I saw a very prominent Republican lobbyist who had just been with a major rhino Republican senator who shall remain nameless. And ironically, when the subject of Trump came up, he also said, don't worry about him. He'll be gone by December. Now I see these ads. I've seen the Tom Steyer TV ad, Steyer being a kind of a junior Soros. By the way, he's lost every election he's ever touched. Now you bring this in, these full-page newspaper ads, and folks, this ain't cheap. The full page of the New York Times, that's $100K plus, depending on what editions it ran in. And I see the synergy of their political strategy. They are going to run a street revolution against Trump, a revolt. At the same time,
that's the AstroTurf.
It's the 25th Amendment strategy. So plan A, the Mueller takedown. Not looking very good right now because Mueller laid out his cards and they are weak indeed. If they were counting on Manafort to roll over, clearly they were. They dumped these charges on him. I can report to the InfoWarriors right now, Manafort will plead not guilty and he will fight to the death. He is not going to bear false witness against the President of the United States. He is not going to make up lies about Donald Trump and the Russians to please Bob Mueller. He is a fighter and he will go down fighting if he has to. But there is zero chance that they will break his spirit or break his commitment to making America great again and taking on the globalists. So I think the Mueller plan is going to fail. That moves us to the 25th Amendment plan, Alex. And this week here at InfoWars, we're going to lay out who exactly the plotters are and what their scheme is to remove the president. They seek to do in the courts and through the Constitution in a bogus proceeding what they could not do at the ballot box.
Absolutely. This is their biggest assault yet. But let's remember, they failed trying to steal the nomination. They did steal it from Sanders. They failed to then keep him from getting the final nomination at the convention in Cleveland that you and I attended, and the rest of the crew. And then they failed to get the faithless electors to stop him from being seated at the Electoral College. They have failed. And now Russiagate completely turns around, just as you said a year and a half ago. Everything they accused Trump of and you and I of, how asinine, they have done.
No, they've got the worst possible perfect storm between Uranium One and the revelations about fusion GPS and the ties first revealed here at InfoWars to the Bush-Rubio Republican money man Paul Singer and his henchman Dan Senor, and then passed that ball on to Hillary Clinton, as the president noted today in a tweet. up to $13 million now spent on this bogus narrative accusing the president of sexual indiscretions. Completely false, completely made up. They are in retreat. They see the pieces coming together for their indictment. Therefore, the guy we really have to count on, the guy who I think is a hero, who I've known for many years and somebody of extraordinary integrity, is Senator Chuck Grassley. He is going to bust Uranium One wide open. And in my view, it is essential to have both Mueller and Rosenstein in the hot seat answering questions under oath.
And that's why they're saying your plan is ridiculous, because they know the president listens on pardons, you name it. And you've been telling him all along what was going to happen. It's happened just as you said it would. How much I could say here, but the president's got to know you've been dead on.
Well, I was heartened by the fact that General Kelly, in this terrific interview with Laura Ingraham, laid out the need for a special prosecutor on Uranium
Is Kelly
One.
not suddenly getting a lot better?
Well, I think
and I notice the left turned on him now.
the left has turned on him. He clearly has figured out that the way to stay on his job is to go to the wall for Donald Trump. Donald Trump is a man who rewards and appreciates loyalty. And whether it is General Kelly taking on the whack job congresswoman from Florida with her cowboy hats, or whether it is him pointing out that we need a special prosecutor. Here's the linchpin, though, Alex. What will Jeff Sessions do? When the president...
He's the weak link.
It appears that way. When the president orders him, this isn't a suggestion, Jeff.
And the president's on TV saying, do something. They're in bed with the Russians.
Exactly. So it does not, it would not shock me if Jeff Sessions has to go. He either got to follow orders and appoint a real special prosecutor, someone like Mike McCasey, or someone like...
Well, Trey Gowdy's already said he wouldn't do it.
Andrew McCarthy. Judge Andrew Napolitano.
Oh, he'd be great.
Any of them are more than capable of doing this job. We need a real, fearless, honest prosecutor.
Well, let's boil it down. We're in a mob war between a group that wants to restore the republic and not have us sell the country out, and a group that thinks they own the country. What about the wild card, though, of Trump saying, don't bring people in on these cultural enrichment visas? That's actually what they're called, folks. That Chuck Schumer and Obama put through 7 years ago. And then almost all the terror attacks we see are from the, quote, refugees or cultural enrichment from the very countries Trump is trying to block people unvetted, where, folks, in Sudan or in Somalia, an imam gives you a passport who lets you cross a border and then fly out on, say, a Kenyan Airways. They don't even have airports that work. Trump saying he bans 7 countries. These are countries that don't have running water. We have no idea who's getting on the damn planes. He better block them.
I wonder if the people killed in Times Square feel culturally enriched today.
I wonder if there's going to be a 7-day waiting period like we had with the old Brady law on rental trucks. Because, if they'd have had just a waiting period, because, the New York Times says right here, the truck did it. Do you know that it's like Christine, the Stephen King movie, or Maximum Overdrive, where the cars come alive and kill you? Right here. Autobots transform and murder. Mile-long Manhattan truck attack kills 8. I knew it was Megatron.
The truck had no driver, evidently. Extraordinary. Extraordinary. Did he not yell Ali Akbar just before the attack? I've seen that in several media reports. Why won't they call the truth? Why won't they point out that this is Islamic terrorism at its worst? And
again, listeners know this. I only generally plug once an hour over the years because that could fund us, and we grew symbiotically, organically to the level we needed. Now's the main attack. Now's the war bonds. You spend money with globalists, it's trading with the enemy. You buy products at InfoWarsStore.com. It is an act of total resistance to the globalists and Soros. And for his billions, millions can counter that. But we need millions, because I sell high-quality products at such low prices that I argue with some of my crew that are in marketing. I think super low prices are the way to go. Then people just buy more and we make more. I'm right, kind of, but sometimes not. Because then sometimes things are bestsellers, sometimes they're not. I need folks to go to InfoWarsStore.com and get one of 60, 70 T-shirts to spread the word, meet like-minded folks. I need you to sign up for AutoShip to get great products like DNA Force and great probiotics like Biome Defense and Brain Force Plus and a bunch of specials that end today. InfoWarsStore.com or 888-253-3139. One of my biggest stressors is trying to raise money to hire more crew to battle harder and fending off enemy attacks. But if you flood us with cash, It absolutely takes weight off us to spend time in information warfare. So I'm going to say it now. You want us to fight? Energize us. Flood me with greenbacks, and I commit I'll go to the death. But I need the money. That's how I wage war. Flood us with money now. By the way, Roger Stone, you heard it here first 3 days ago, is considering suing Twitter. He's talked to top lawyers. He has a cut-and-dry case of discrimination. They've operated like a utility. They've told Congress they're a utility. So is Google. So is Facebook. But now we have Veritas video and internal documents across the board where if their employees say men exist, they're fired. And I know that sounds crazy, but that's how cultic it is now, like robots. We are the Borg. There are no men. There are no women. And so he's getting ready to file a big suit. Milo, others are probably going to join. I've been looking at it, but they always ban us and bring us back. I've talked to lawyers. We've got good cases, but not as good as yours. And this brings light right as they bring in this new guy to head up the Federal Trade Commission, who's an antitrust Google buster. And then we had the big executives and people that I'm going to play later after you leave testifying that there really was no Russia collusion. In fact, the Russia stuff was anti-Trump.
Yeah, no, it's extraordinary. The double standard that we're experiencing on Twitter. Look, every single day on Twitter, people threaten to kill me, kill my wife, kill my children, kill my dogs. Nothing happens to them. They're still there. Keith Olbermann threatens to burn people's houses down with them in them. He drops the F-bomb constantly in attacks on the president. The man is not there. But still, he is verified and on Twitter. Today, an Antifa spokesman announces the future beheading of a number of Americans. Still, their Twitter feed remains intact. So it's about time, and I have met with a number of lawyers. This is very simple. Twitter needs to be regulated like a utility. The phone company's a private company, but they can't deny you a telephone. This is a First Amendment issue. And to say, oh, you used obscenity, really? Well, you better look at Keith Olbermann's feed if that's the measure. I didn't say anything on Twitter that hasn't been said. Now,
You said Don Lemon is a complete idiot.
Well, I said he's a snowflake. He's an imbecile. And his view, again...
And they proved he's a snowflake. You got banned.
The claim by Don Lemon is that the Clintons have been completely exonerated on Uranium One. No, Don, they haven't. Stop saying that. It's a lie. And when you repeat a lie, it makes you a liar. Go to your next party and knock it off, will you?
And in a separate issue, then you're going to go take a break and get ready to host the War Room coming up and the fourth hour here today that I'll join you in with. What do you make of Podesta? He hardly ever tweets. When he does, foaming at the mouth at you, foaming at the mouth at me, making threats, saying I'm going to eat crap. I mean, what is going on with him?
I think he's becoming unhinged. You notice his brother was forced to step down from their extremely lucrative influence peddling operation in Washington, D.C. They try to divert attention to Pizzagate, but Pizzagate's not the issue. It's the art on the walls. It's the weird stuff written on your knuckles, John. We're on to you. We know what you are and what you do.
Exactly, and I'm saying Podesta should be investigated from what's in the WikiLeaks. The New York Times, everybody, diverted it to a pizza place. We covered it. We took the bait, but we got the documents, and we got the PIs on the ground for 6 months. We're not stupid.
No, look, I think he's becoming unhinged because they are getting exposed. Their whole carefully constructed Russian narrative is falling apart before their very eyes. The exact thing that they were seeking to divert from, the fact that they are the ones in bed with
You know Podesta's watching right now.
I hope so.
Listen, he only talks about us.
Yeah, well, I don't try to get your feed followers up just by saying my name. It's ironic. Twitter killed me just when I hit 300,000 followers.
And again, they do that to suppress. It turned out like 80-something% of Obama's, Hillary's, it's all fake. We don't go buy followers. I could go buy 10 million tomorrow for like $50,000.
Yeah, all of mine
fake.
are real.
It's fake. No, Drudge is the #1 site in the world.